The woman braided her hair with artistry, anointed her skin with oil, and dressed her in a crimson wrapper that glowed like fire. Beads adorned her wrists, and she handed Chidera the demb. "Why do this for me?" Chidera asked, voice cracking. The woman held her gaze. "You'll understand soon. Go shine." In the dusty heart of Okwalu, a village cradled by sprawling savannas and gnarled baobab trees in an ancient corner of West Africa, life pulsed to the rhythm of tradition and survival. The red earth stained everything: feet, hands, dreams, and the air carried the scent of roasted maize and whispered secrets. Here lived Heze Okolye, a farmer so wealthy his barns groaned under the weight of millet. His yam mounds rivaled small hills, and his herds of goats and cattle could have starred in their own epic. To the villagers, Heze was a legend, a man who'd wrestled fortune from the unforgiving soil. But those who knew him best saw the truth. His wealth was a shiny mask hiding a heart as cold as a Harmattan night. Heze had 2 wives, a setup as old as the village itself. His first wife, Adana, hailed from a distant coastal town, her accent soft as sea foam. She was a quiet powerhouse, calloused hands, sharp mind, and a heart that could hold a storm without breaking. She'd given Heze a daughter, Chidera, whose beauty and kindness were the talk of Okwalu. His second wife, Maman Kechi, was a local, with a tongue sharper than a machete and a soul that hoarded every scrap of favor. She'd birthed 3 children, twin daughters, Nkechi and Ngozi, and a son, Obiora, whom she treated like a crown prince. The 2 wives shared Heze's sprawling compound, but their lives couldn't have been more different. Maman Kechi was Heze's darling, draped in gold bangles and ankara wraps so vibrant they could blind you. He showered her with praise, palm wine, and the best cuts of meat, crowing about her like she'd invented fire. Adana, though, she was the ghost in her own home. Despite her tireless work, tending crops, cooking, mending, Heze treated her like a stray dog. Maybe it was her outsider status, her gentle accent, or maybe he just never loved her. Whatever the reason, Adana and Chidera were relegated to a crumbling mud hut at the compound's edge, far from the main house's chatter and warmth. Adana had no allies in Okwalu. Her only solace was a carved wooden dem drum, a gift from her late mother, its taut goatskin head etched with coastal symbols. That drum wasn't just an instrument. It was her voice, her rebellion, her lifeline. In the evenings, under a gnarled mango tree, she'd play, her fingers dancing across the drum, weaving rhythms that spoke of joy and pain. Chidera, her shadow and soulmate, learned the dem too, and their nightly duets became a secret ritual, chasing away the sting of Heze's neglect with every beat. Years rolled by, and Chidera grew into a vision, eyes like polished ebony, a smile that could thaw a feud, and hands that worked as hard as her mother's. But the ache of her father's indifference clung to her like dust. Then, during a brutal rainy season, Adana fell ill. Her strength faded, her laughter dimmed, and her once vibrant frame withered. Chidera, barely 17, ran to Heze, her voice cracking. "Papa, Mama's sick. She needs a healer, please." Heze barely looked up from his palm wine. "She'll be fine. Probably just tired." His tone was colder than the rain. Maman Kechi, lounging nearby with a smirk, didn't even pretend to care. No herbs, no prayers, not a single kind word. Chidera, desperate, scavenged for remedies, boiling roots, brewing teas, fanning her mother's fevered brow, but the sickness was a thief, stealing Adana breath by breath. One dawn, as thunder rumbled and rain leaked through their hut's roof, Adana gripped Chidera's hand. "My girl," she whispered, her voice a fading echo, "keep your heart soft. Keep playing the drum. It's your fire." Her eyes fluttered shut, and she was gone. Chidera's wail shattered the morning, but no one came. Not Heze, not Maman Kechi, not a single soul. Adana was buried in a hasty grave behind the compound. No ceremony, no tears but Chidera's. Life marched on for everyone else, but for Chidera, it stopped. Maman Kechi seized her chance, turning Chidera into the compound servant. She cooked, scrubbed, hauled water from the river, and chopped firewood until her palms bled. Last to eat, often forgotten, she was a shadow in her father's house. Heise watched, silent, his eyes sliding past her like she was a stranger. Yet Chidera never broke. She moved with quiet grit, her mother's grace in every step. Her only escape was Adana's demb, hidden under her sleeping mat. At night, when the compound slept, she'd sneak to the mango tree, drumming softly, singing to the stars in a voice that could make the moon jealous. Her stepsisters, Nkechi and Ngozi, caught her once. "What's that racket?" Nkechi sneered. "Think your stupid drum's gonna make you a queen?" "Keep banging it," Ngozi cackled. "Maybe it'll summon your dead mama back to do your chores." Chidera's chest tightened, but she said nothing, tucking the drum away. The cruelty was a familiar sting, but it couldn't snuff her spark. One day, a trader named Uche from a nearby village strode into Heise's compound, his arms laden with gifts, sacks of rice, jars of palm oil, and a plump ram. He bowed low. "I've heard of your daughter, Chidera," he said. "Her beauty and work ethic are legendary. I seek her hand in marriage." Heise's eyes gleamed, but before he could speak, Mama Nkechi swooped in like a hawk. "Chidera? Marry?" she scoffed. "Who'll scrub the pots if she leaves?" "She's not ready, Uche. Come back in a decade." Heise shrugged. "Another time, perhaps." Uche left, deflated, while Chidera, eavesdropping behind a wall, felt her heart crack. That night, she clutched the demb, tears soaking the earth. Why am I nothing to them? One scorching afternoon, Mama Nkechi sent Chidera to clear a weed-choked plot alone. The sun was a tyrant, the land endless. Her back screamed, her hands blistered, but she hacked away, grit in her veins. Then, like a mirage, a woman appeared. She was older, with eyes like deep wells and a simple white wrapper that glowed faintly. "Let me help," she said, her voice warm as a hearth. Chidera stepped back, wary. "I'm fine, thank you." "I insist," the woman said, grabbing a hoe. To Chidera's shock, she moved like a whirlwind, clearing the plot in minutes. The field looked reborn. "How?" Chidera stammered. The woman smiled. "I've watched you, child. You're strong, kind, patient. Don't lose that." "Who are you?" Chidera asked, heart pounding. "I live beyond the river," the woman said vaguely. "You remind me of someone I lost." She vanished before Chidera could press further. Over the months, the woman reappeared during Chidera's darkest moments, bringing food, offering words that soothed like balm, or lending a hand. She never gave her name, but her presence was a lifeline, a flicker of hope in Chidera's grind. Then came the bombshell. Prince Kelechi, the king's only son, returned from years studying in the city. To celebrate, the king announced a grand festival, inviting every villager to a week of feasting, music, and dance. Mama Nkechi went all out, dressing Nkechi and Ngozi in dazzling wrappers, their braids glittering with beads, their anklets jingling like tiny bells. They looked like royalty, primed to catch the prince's eye. Before leaving, Mama Nkechi dropped a sack of maize at Chidera's feet. "Shell this by tonight," she barked. "And if I catch you near the festival, I'll make you wish you were never born." Chidera glanced at Heise, hoping for a shred of mercy, but he turned away, his silence a blade. Alone, she dragged the sack to the backyard, her hands shaking as she shelled the maize. Each kernel felt like a lost dream. Then, a voice cut through her despair. "Rest, my girl." Chidera looked up. The mysterious woman stood there, holding a basket of yam porridge. "Eat," she said, setting it down. "I'll handle this." "How do you always find me?" Chidera asked, bewildered. The woman winked. "I know what I need to know." Chidera ate, her strength returning. When she returned to the sack, the maize was shelled, every kernel neatly piled. She gasped, spinning around, but the woman was gone. At the festival, the king addressed the crowd, his voice booming. My son seeks a bride. In 1 week, every maiden in Okwulu will perform at the palace. Kelechi loves the Dem's rhythm. The one who captivates him with her talent will win his heart. The news electrified the village. Maidens scrambled to perfect dances, songs, and flute melodies. Mama Nkechi hired a master drummer to coach her daughters, splurging on new outfits and jewelry. Chidera overheard, her heart aching. The Dem was her soul. She'd inherited Adana's gift for its pulsing rhythms. One night, while Mama Nkechi's family was out, she slipped out the drum and played, her fingers flying, her voice weaving a song of longing. The music was magic, raw and alive. But Mama Nkechi caught her. "What's this nonsense?" she roared, snatching the demb. "Think you're festival material? The prince wouldn't spit on you." With a cruel grin, she doused the drum with palm oil and set it ablaze. "No!" Chidera screamed, lunging to save it. "That's my mother's." But Mama Nkechi shoved her back, watching the flames devour the drum. "You're a nobody," she spat. "Go weed the yam plot by dawn, or I'll bury you next to your mama." Crushed, Chidera stumbled to the plot, her sobs drowning out the crickets. She stared at the weeds, too broken to move. Then, the woman appeared, holding a gleaming new demb, its wood carved with stars. "How did you?" Chidera choked. "I saw," the woman said softly. "Take this. Practice here daily. Hide it in the brush. The prince loves the demb, and you play it like no other." "Why help me?" Chidera whispered, tears falling. The woman's eyes shimmered. "Because your light must shine." She vanished, leaving Chidera clutching the drum, hope flickering anew. The festival day dawned. Mama Nkechi dressed Nkechi and Ngozi like goddesses, their beads sparkling, their confidence blinding. To Chidera, she tossed a basket of groundnuts. "Shell these by tonight," she snarled. "Step near the palace, and you're done." Chidera pleaded, "Please, I have a talent. Let me try." Ngozi cackled. "What? Your rags? Gonna audition for village beggar." Nkechi sneered, "Maybe she'll drum her way to the trash heap." Mama Nkechi grabbed Chidera's chin. "Stay put, or I'll make you regret breathing." They left, their laughter a fading taunt. Chidera sank to the ground, numb. Then defiance sparked. "I have to go." Like a miracle, the woman appeared, carrying a basket of treasures, vibrant wrappers, coconut oil, beads, and a carved comb. "Bathe," she said gently. "I'll wait." Chidera obeyed, returning clean and trembling. The woman braided her hair with artistry, anointed her skin with oil, and dressed her in a crimson wrapper that glowed like fire. Beads adorned her wrists, and she handed Chidera the demb. "Why do this for me?" Chidera asked, voice cracking. The woman held her gaze. "You'll understand soon. Go shine." Chidera looked in a small mirror, gasping. She was radiant, a stranger to herself. She hugged the woman fiercely. "Thank you." "Go," the woman whispered. "I'm watching." At the palace, maidens performed, flutes trilled, dancers twirled, but Prince Kelechi's face stayed blank, bored. Then Chidera entered, demb in hand. The crowd hushed, stunned by her beauty. Who was she? After the others finished, Chidera stepped forward, her heart pounding. She struck the demb, its rhythm a heartbeat, and sang in her mother's coastal dialect, her voice soaring like a hawk. The prince leaned forward, entranced, pulling out a flute to join her. Their duet was electric, a conversation of souls. The palace erupted in applause, feet stomping, voices cheering. Kelechi whispered to the king, who rose. "My son has chosen. The maiden with the demb, Chidera, will be his bride." The crowd roared, but a shriek cut through. "She's a liar." Mama Nkechi bellowed, shoving forward. "She stole that drum, those clothes. She's a servant." Gasps rippled. The king raised a hand. "Chidera, is this true?" Before she could answer, the mysterious woman stepped from the crowd, her presence commanding. "It's false," she said, voice steady. "I gave her the drum, the clothes. This woman has starved and beaten Chidera for years, burning her mother's memory." Villagers stood, voices rising. "It's true," one shouted. "We saw Maman Ketch's cruelty." Another added, "Chidera was a slave in her own home." The king's face darkened. "Maman Ketchi, for your lies and cruelty, you'll serve the palace for a year, learning humility." The crowd cheered. Kelechi took Chidera's hand, beaming. Nkechi and Ngozi shrank, humiliated. Heze stood silent, shame bowing his head. That night, Chidera found the woman near the palace gardens. "Thank you," she said, tears falling. "I owe you everything." The woman smiled, her eyes glistening. "Don't scream, but I must tell you something." Chidera nodded, braced. "I'm your mother," the woman whispered. "My spirit couldn't rest while you suffered. Now, I can go, knowing you're safe." Chidera's knees buckled, sobs racking her. "Mama?" The woman nodded, fading into the night like a soft British English haze. Chidera clutched the air, whispering, "I love you." 2 days later, the palace bloomed with joy. Chidera's wedding was a spectacle. Coral beads, silk gowns, and a crown that sparkled like dawn. She danced, laughed, her happiness a beacon. Heze approached, kneeling, his voice broken. "Forgive me, Chidera." She nodded, her heart heavy but open, her kindness a gift to all. As she sat beside Kelechi, Chidera looked skyward, whispering, "Thank you, Mama." The demb, once a cry of sorrow, now sang of triumph. Across Okwalu, songs were woven about the girl who drummed her way to a prince's heart, loved so fiercely by a mother that death couldn't part them. Chidera's story teaches that resilience and kindness can triumph over adversity. Your talents are a powerful light no matter how small they seem, and love, justice, and community can lift you from darkness to glory. With grit and a dem's beat, she shows us to keep shining, even when the world tries to silence you. If you loved this tale of grit, heart, and a little bit of magic, smash that like button and hit subscribe for more epic stories that'll keep you glued to your screen. Drop a comment. What's your favorite moment? Let's keep the rhythm going.